Hello, everybody. Many of you, I'm sure, are wondering, should I install firmware version 11.0b3? And I just installed that firmware. It is, of course, in beta test, and I installed it on my Blue Mini. As you see here, I'm operating a Blue Mini with the 22.2 circuit board. So here we are in the Blitzortung web interface for my Lightning station. And one of the nice features that has been added in this version of the software, I will show you in the settings, is what is called auto adapt to noise. And what we learn is that when this is enabled, the controller sets thresholds, trigger thresholds, and gains relative to the noise floor. And this ends up being an extremely helpful feature, which I will now demonstrate. So here we have, as you know, the Blue Mini has two analog paths, channel A and channel B. And in my system, those two fields are connected to ferrite rod antennas, each of which has been electrically shielded with copper sheeting. That's what you see on the left. On the right, you see a controller for an irrigation sprinkler. And why do we care about this? Because I recently relocated the entire station to a pump house that is quite some distance away from any buildings and is quite some distance away from most sources of electromagnetic interference. There is, however, one very potent source of electromagnetic interference in that pump house, and it is the pump, which is a 3/4 horsepower electrical pump. What I'm going to demonstrate for you is how the noise adaptation feature of this version 11 beta software is able to respond in a very intelligent way to changes in the RF background noise due to external influences. So I turn on the pump in a moment, but first let's just remind ourselves, what are our noise levels? In channel A, 17, 18, perhaps 20 or 21 millivolts, and in channel B, perhaps 24 or 26 millivolts. I had already set trigger levels of 40 millivolts for both channel A and channel B. Now let's turn on the pump. So I'm going to turn on the pump, and you'll see on the screen a change on the right-hand side, and now the pump is on. And what is the immediate consequence of the pump being on? On the left-hand side, we see that the noise level in channel A has increased a little bit. Previously perhaps 20 or 21 millivolts, now up to 30. And we see that in channel B, there's a much bigger change. The noise level has more than doubled, now at about 56 or so millivolts. We can see that our noise adaptation feature in the version 11 firmware has reacted in just the way that you would hope. The trigger level in channel B has now gotten increased to 71 millivolts. This means that channel B will hopefully safely avoid triggering in an interference way to background noise. Now we're going to turn off the pump and watch as the two noise levels drop in channels A and B. Instead of being 29 and 54, we're going to watch them drop down to perhaps 20 and perhaps 24, 25, 26 millivolts in channel B. And we also see that the noise adaptation feature of the version 11 firmware has dropped the channel B trigger back down to the original 40 millivolts that I had originally programmed. So what do we have? We have the noise adaptation feature in the version 11 firmware working very well for my needs in my situation. Thank you.